बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी चंद वल्लभ गिरवरधारी जय गोपी चंद वल्लभ गिरवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीर वनचारी जमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Now I recite the song which is sung by Lord Chaitanya Maharaj for Krishna. चेतो दर्पण मार्जनं भवभा महादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रिय गर्भचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनां प्रतिपदां पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा सन्पनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णा संकीर्तनम्. नाम नामकारी बहुधा निजा सर्वशक्तिस्तत्रार्पिता नियमिता संवरणेन काल एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दूरदैवम् ईदृशम् इह जनि नानुरागः ऋणादपि सुनीचेना तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तन्य सदा हरिः. नाधनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितं वा जगत्शा कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिर्हेतुकी त्वयि. अयि नन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितां मम विस्मे भवम्बुधौ कृपया तव पद पादपङ्कज सिताधुली सदृशं विचिन्तया नैनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गदगदरुधाया गिरा पुलाकैरनिचितं वपु कदा तव मां ग्रहणे भविष्यति. युगायतं निमिषेण चक्षुषा पर्वरिषायतं शून्यायतं जगत् सर्वं गोविन्दाविर्हेण मे. आश्लिष्यावापदारतं विनास्तु मम अदर्शनान् मर्मं हतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथ तु सैव नानपराः. Now translation. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, congregational chanting of the Lord's holy names, which cleans the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. That Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O my Lord, Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up and when will the hairs of my body stand on the end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain. So even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken hearted by not being present before me, he is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Thank you to all. Thank you for the service. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Charubai ji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much. So beautiful, Bani. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances for all glory to Srila Prabhupada. So we'll offer our prayers. This is the most auspicious day. We are beginning a new course, Shri Govinda Bhasya. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोश्च्युतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथ पितं तं सजीवं सादवैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखावितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे प्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री प्रभुपाद। नमो मावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम पदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। O most magnificent incarnation of Krishna himself, we appearing as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you have assumed the golden complexion of Srimati Radharani and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer respectful obeisances unto you. कृष्णवर्णं त्रिषा कृष्णं साङ्गपाङ्गोऽस्त्रपार्षदं यज्ञैः सङ्कीर्तनप्राये यजन्ति सुमेधसः. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform convocation chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly chant the same names of Shri Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associate servants, weapons, and confidential companions. नानाशास्त्रविचारणैकनिपुणौ षडधर्मसंस्थापकौ लोकानां हितकारिणौ त्रिभुवने मान्यौ शरण्याकरौ राधाकृष्णपदारविन्द भजन आनन्देन मत्तालिकौ वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Sri Chaitanya, Sri Rupa Goswami, uh, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are expert in studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री प्रभुपाद, जय श्री प्रभुपाद। गोविंद आदिपुरुषं तमं भजामि। Hare Krishna. So, is there any recap today, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam.
Thank you.
So it is my recap today, Prabhuji, as a wonderful seva. Thanks you and Sharat Prabhuji for the service. So I'll share the screen and we'll just dive in.
Hare Krishna,
Uh,
Chandra bhai.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
See,
Baby
this
called
is
so,
you?
Rituni
Huh?
baby છે.
Oh, acha, acha. Hi, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna કરો.
okay.
Hare Krishna.
We
Yeah.
have folks, we have a youngest devotee with us now.
See,
And
he's
I'm told
clapping.
that this
Hare
little
Krishna, Hare
baby,
Krishna.
little baby is a really incredible child, you know. Right now, she enjoys chanting Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, beta.
What's her name, Varsha?
Ruhi.
Ruhi. Hi. It's a beautiful baby, right? So
Yes,
this
Yeah.
is a
Prabhuji. Yes, she's
this is
very
a
sweet.
this is a great soul,
Really,
continuing her
better?
journey, continuing her journey.
Hari bol. Hari bol. Say Hari bol.
Okay,
Hari bol.
okay,
Jai Jai kar
Prabhuji, go
Nana
ahead
ne.
now.
Nana ne Jai Jai.
Hare
Nana
Krishna.
Jai Jai.
JJ,
Hare
we
Krishna.
need
Can you hear me?
her blessings.
Okay.
We need her
Hare
Yes.
blessings.
Krishna. Please keep the mute. Those who are not talking, please keep it mute. So let's continue with our service on that. So today, as Charu Prabhu says, is the most auspicious day when we are going to start with Govinda Bhaj, and and I also I'm concluding. I've been given opportunity to conclude the prerequisite recap of that. So 11 lessons. I thank Charu Prabhuji for the thought that this is the required on that. Let's pray also to Govind Dev ji and Baldev Vidyabhushan ji, and also not forget Ramanandis, who really propelled to bring this philosophy. With all those prayers, let's dive into the last portion of prerequisite. So I'm sharing the screen here. So I'll have question. There are 7 slides in total, and I'll have some 11, 12 questions to that. Okay, so if everybody can see my slides, right? And hear me clearly?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
Yes,
so,
Prabhuji.
okay, so yeah, Hare Krishna. Let's continue with that. This is a really concluding part. And, Charu Prabhuji intentionally put together most of the philosophies we are done, but he is summarizing in the chart. And hope that is the purpose of this. So the first slide will understand here. And the question, why the commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan ji is called Govinda Bhaj and not by any other name?
Hare
Because
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah.
Baldev Vidyabhushan ji prayed Lord Govind ji, and Lord appeared to him in his dream and said, go on, I will help you dictate it so that nobody will refuse it and everybody will accept it. That is why Baldev Bhushan ji named it as Govinda Bhasya.
Thank you, Mataji. So it's
He
such a
did not, he
wonderful,
did not want to take credit himself.
yes, yes. And thanks for that good answer on that. Govind Devji's wonderful deity in Jaipur. I had a recently opportunity to see them.
We are
And
going to
at the
see today's slide.
Yeah, so nice opportunity on that. So yeah, let's go to the second question on that. What is the central theme of Govinda Bhash? Prabhuji has highlighted, that 11 which I highlighted here. So let's start with that, what we are expected, and then from here, Charupan is also going to talk. So what is that central theme?
The central theme is that to establish Achinta Veda with the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
which is the very essence of the Vedic teachings.
Essence.
Correct, correct. So that makes
And
sense.
to
It is
engage
a
in devotional practice.
correct. So how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we go forward, we'll see more of that, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself evolved as he goes. So we'll see that on that. So nice answer on that one. So let's go to the slide 2. Okay. So this is called Achinta Bhedabhed. We start here. There are total 8, points here, one after another, and there will be questions on that. So what is the Achinta Bhedabhed Tattva? We have done many times, but just give a justice to this also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
This story is of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is stated that the soul and and this Paramatma super soul is the same, but this is also, there is difference also, and this it is achinta. Achinta means this cannot be described. Only the pure devotees, yeah, and according to Vedic Sutra, one can know about this uh, supreme soul, ultimate truth. So that's why it is called Achinta
Thank you.
Veda.
Yeah.
Achintya
Bhed
means
abed.
inconceivable.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I'll just
Go ahead.
add one thing, okay, in a simple strike. Like Jivatma is one and also different from Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, in a simple nutshell. So the example is sun and sun rays, Prabhuji. Yeah,
Yeah. So
on
that
top of
was
the
my
sun.
question. Can we help you to understand?
Qualitatively one,
Poly,
quantitatively different.
correct.
Yeah. So can elaborate little about sunshine and sun, how it fits into the narrative of Jivatma and Paramatma.
Yeah, sun represents the Krishna, Prabhu, and the rays represents we all, okay, Jivatmas, our souls. Yeah. So, but actually, sunshine is not separable from sun. Yeah. In the same way, all the Jivatmas are part and parcel of Sri Krishna. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what it is.
Are
Yeah.
from our souls are from super soul.
Yeah. So yeah, so that answers. I think Mataji also answered the next question. What is Achinta means, right? So we'll go to the next. So I think we'll conclude much faster than required, and because there are a few questions only on that. So this is a slide 3, authority of Vedic knowledge. So different uh, different items are brought forward here, and in this particular slide, how the authority of Vedic knowledge evolve over a period of time, and why, and what is the sanctity. It is said here, right? Understand the absolute truth. The Shrutis also evolve. It talks about that over the period. So how to understand, if we call it a Paurusha, there's no change, everything is there, but it's also also a little bit of tweak is done, and Charu Prabhuji can add to that. So the question is again on that one, how the authority of Vedic knowledge evolve over a period of time, and why. I highlighted
Okay,
the words of Charu Prabhuji here as
so Vedic authority and the teachings of pure devotees during ancient time was a part of a living tradition, but it was through various commentaries. As the Sanskrit intellectual culture grows, Shruti was highlighted by scholars who interpreted this text into new lights, and it gave a new core discourse to preserve this to show this static scripture narrative. And
yeah.
Shrutis are confined to history, but
No,
continue
hold
to
on. Yeah, hold on to
okay,
that
okay,
only. Hold on to that one
okay,
particular
okay.
question. Yeah. So again, central theme is that why it is required that the Shrutis to be again tweaked, right? So always we talk with Paurusha, nothing should be changed. Is it real change, or what has happened here? Again, I'm just bringing this point here because there is one line I was looking for that.
Prabhuji, to understand the ultimate truth, it was necessary.
Okay.
To,
Anyone?
Mataji, you might be able to answer that.
Yeah. I highlighted. You can read its answer buried there, and it's a very important point, right? Okay. So
The
here,
need to it to
go
need the
ahead.
need for understanding of our time.
Need
It bring
understand our
it
Yeah.
yeah.
and interpret this text in a new light. Okay, driving dynamic discourse, right? Than discourse rather than preserving a static scripture narrative. So this is very important. People normally ask you, who knows it? It's the return and all those things. What is its relevance today, right? So
Yes.
Prabhuji brought very nice point on that.
Prabhuji, one other point that Acharya gave that more clarification on it, so we can understand very nicely. So in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura's commentary and others Sridhar Swami commentaries, we can understand and we can follow also in an easy way.
The scholars they interpret the text in new ways, new light.
New
those
light.
new light on
And
it.
it is their realization also.
Right. So also it's added, so Mataji was talking about history. Can you elaborate little bit on that? His Shrutis are not confined only to history. So can you elaborate little bit? So again, little more information. This contemporary perspective bridges ancient texts with a modern discourse, right? Again, the same spirit.
Irrespective of the time,
Yeah,
okay, we will have the understanding, Prabhu. Okay, that is the greatness of Shruti. Okay,
that's the greatness. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and
But
it
only
can
that,
be
like, we need to have a right understanding from acharyas. Okay,
how to
that is the
speculate. Yeah, question another how to speculate. Charu Prabhuji talks again and again. Can we do speculation here? Is it allowed?
no.
No.
Not
No,
allowed.
no.
But Charu Prabhuji also gives that we
But
can.
under philosophical, spiritual philosophy, we can speculate here and there. But our own thoughts, and we have to accept the whatever is given in Shruti.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is that we point talks about that how the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam is established. Like we say, Vedant Sutra, it's a natural commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, right? And the example of Prahlad Maharaj is given because it's one thing is stating that the philosophical discourse, another is giving example to authenticate, right? So how Prahlad Maharaj authenticates the Srimad Bhagavatam? The B point talks about.
Basically, Srimad Bhagavatam is of the devotees of the Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the devotees are glorified. So in Prahlad Maharaj is also stated that in whatever condition we have to be very, very steadfast in our devotion. It teaches the devotion.
What is the analogy given?
Yes.
Analogy is like iron, how the iron is being attracted by a magnetic stone. Okay, at moves okay, its own accord towards that particular iron, Prabhu. So that is the analogy. It is being explained. Okay.
And his consciousness, the
Yes.
Prahlad Maharaj's consciousness moves as per the how it attracts the iron to the magnet. Same
Yes.
way, his mind is fixed on the Lord
Yes.
Vishnu.
Also, it mentioned the Bhagavatam role, not just as authority, but as a work, reach a narrative. That means, prayers of the devotees and the, pastimes of devotee along with the Lord. That is there. So let's move to the next slide 4 on that. So bhakti. Okay. So we are at the bhakti. Explain how bhakti tradition provides sense of peace and fulfillment.
It is a reciprocal relationship with the Lord. So it is kind of not mere philosophy, dry philosophy. It is a connection that a devotee establishes with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it is not based on just knowledge. It is beyond knowledge and has a lot of, it is pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, but
It
has.
is a
On top of
selfless.
that,
It is selfless service
And we
Yeah.
should all
without any motion, without any condition.
Yeah,
yes,
without
and
any
as
desires.
yes.
Yeah,
example
without
is
any
And,
desire.
on top
It
of
is
this,
example is
you will
giving
get
deep,
rain
a
chanting.
deep understanding. This deep understanding bhakti gives and true fulfillment
uh,
uh, and uh, rasa in bhakti in devotions in this doing devotions selflessly. It gives uh, anand to Satchit Anand to the devotee. So we can say that it is actually deep emotions. Uh,
So
It
do
clear
we
it
only
yesterday
clears
also we
our
discussed
mind
this,
and
Prabhu.
centers our thoughts.
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yesterday also we discussed this, Prabhu, yesterday night. Closing our eyes and doing the chanting. what is that you are going to get is ultimately you ourselves feel that peace and fulfillment. Ultimately, the satisfaction, Prabhu, because we are serving Krishna and chanting God's name.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks
That
for
yes.
adding
connection
that.
establishes. Yeah.
Correct. So
Yeah.
simple mantra or chant allow each
Yes.
repetition to wash you over you, right? Clean your
When we
mind and
do selfless services, then our bonding is increased with the divine.
so is bhakti one time activity in a day or how it is there?
24
No,
by
it
7.
is.
So everyday practice, example, how
Everyday
selfless
practice.
service, right? It
Selfless.
Yes.
deals into living truths on that.
Every
So
day, each time, each minute, we should have in mind that's Supreme God.
okay, so next question, as we are here itself on the same, third point, is that how dissatisfaction can be catalyst for spiritual growth.
Yes, it may be. It can be.
No example is given here. So you can see the last few lines.
Vyasa's journey and our question gives deeper meaning to personalize the doctrine
इवन व्यास देव जी ने
and
सारा
invites us for
स्क्रिप्चर्स
the
सारे स्क्रिप्चर्स को लिखे मगर उनको सेटिस्फेक्शन नहीं हो क्योंकि जब तक उन्होंने भगवान का ग्लोरिफिकेशन नहीं लिखा तब तक उनको एक सेटिस्फेक्शन नहीं मिल पाया.
Hmm. So what is the lesson for us? We run different gods, many places and all that, right? So unless I'll come to the right knowledge and glorification, because Vyasdev wrote 17 scriptures glorifying many other gods and many other things, right? So ultimately Vyas journey and how it how
focus on Lord Krishna.
correct. So, and again he has added something like Charuprabhuji added Vyasa journey and your own
Quest for deeper meaning,
right.
personalize the doctrine. Yes.
Okay, inviting reflection how dissatisfaction can be catalyst for spiritual growth, right? So
Yes.
very nice sentences. I can't stop, highlighting more on that. So
Exactly
okay,
like the miseries also is a catalyst for the spiritual growth. Our
correct,
miseries
correct.
also catalyst.
Okay, so the next question is point 4. That talks about Chaitanya. Explain Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transformation from philosophical discourse to spreading love for Lord. Point 4. How was his early life?
His
Chaitanya
first
Prabhu.
kirtan,
He's
during his first
great.
kirtana, the mridangas
No,
thunder
before that,
like
before that, before that.
No, Prabhu.
okay.
In
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's
early past time, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's scholastic pastime, he had a tremendous pride of his education और शास्त्र बहुत ही उनको गर्व था मगर जैसे उन्होंने दीक्षा लिया ईश्वरपुरी से फिर उनका जो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हुआ और वो भक्ति में कन्वर्ट हो गए.
his love of God increased through
हाँ.
devotional
He
service.
believed in
So
debating. Then at the last,
good.
come to this love, devotional services.
So mere
He is
philosophical debate,
Yeah,
mental
of
knowledge, and
yeah.
all are worthless. So
yeah.
Prabhuji Chaitanya Prabhu, he was not under influence. He wanted to display, show to us, right? How even at his level, he was the greatest philosopher, greatest debater. He defeated so many great people. But at the end, how he drives the point, right? That's what is the very
Yeah.
important. And
He
that's
showed the transformation in
he showed the
from the
transformation. Yes.
from
So
jnana to bhakti.
yeah, so Jnana to Bhakti. Thank you for that. So next question is here, historical context. Historical context for for authority, Govinda Bhash. How it is explained here? What is the significance of that? Like why what Govinda Bhash required to be brought in?
To
Point five. Yeah,
to have the authentic, to show that authentic of Vedanta Sutra.
but there
What,
were
what actually,
there.
what incident actually triggered that?
Yeah. So there were
That is being
other four
challenged.
sampradayas also, right? There
Vaishnava,
were,
That is
Vedanta Sutra was from
Ramanandi's
challenges. Ramanuja
that is being
Sampradaya.
challenged by Ramanuja Sampradaya, Prabhu. That was
yeah,
the starting point actually. Okay,
yes,
to establish the authority. Okay, for Gaudiya Vaishnava.
correct.
Otherwise, it would have been very difficult. Yeah.
Correct. So there were other bhashyas also by a different Vaishnava sampradaya, but there was a need, and in a highlighting Charu Prabhuji brought Achintya Bheda Bhed, right, bringing a central point up there. So the next point, next six is that uh, what is the significance of uh, Govinda Bhash for Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya? Why it is important? I just mentioned. Can you add little because we
It
are almost
it
completing
serves
now.
as a logical tool to understand the Vedanta Sutra through the lens of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva.
Right. So a second question is that let's add little bit because I have a couple of one more question and almost we have done one or two more questions.
Okay,
So
don't feel like you're in
With
a
the
hurry.
process,
okay,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
don't be in a hurry because
Yeah.
today is an auspicious, inauguration. So we
Okay,
have
Prabhuji.
talked much about the philosophy.
Okay. And lot of things are here.
Yeah,
Go.
take your time. Another 10-15 minutes you can take.
Okay, Prabhuji. So next is Govinda Bhash is we talk a logical tool for understanding, right? Vedanta Sutra.
Hmm.
How it
Hmm.
transforms, saying one thing like a tool. Tool means different tools are
Yeah.
there. Prabhuji has given little. He doesn't say only word, right? He gives a
Process begins.
example.
The process begins with Shruti, and then it acknowledges with the revealed text and the foundational voice. It involves applying logic and reasoning, and it also culminates our experience for realization.
So let's this couple of lines. Let's go little bit. Why started with a Shruti? Why not Smriti or something else? I'll be a little bit of David here, right? Why Shruti only? What is
Before
the
delving
Shruti
into
and Smriti?
specific
Difference between Shruti and Smriti?
aphorisms,
No, but what is the
aphorisms.
difference between Shruti and Smriti? What is the Vedas?
Shruti, Prabhu. Vedas are Shruti.
Shruti, right? We are talking
Okay.
about Vedanta Sutra is a basically Vedas, right?
Veda, correct.
Shruti. So Prabhuji started with the Shruti, right? He could have started different. Smriti is also used, but basically he's talking about begin with the Shruti because Vedas, right? We are all Vedantists. He's debating on that point. Then acknowledging the revealed text, and Prabhuji talks of contradictions and all that. You can go back and hear a lot of things as a foundation wise because they are the basis, right? Then Yukti. So then how he propels all that? He was applying logic and reasoning and culminates in Anubhava. So why the word Anubhava is used? He could have
Because it
just
has to
given.
be, it
Go ahead,
had to be
Mata.
realized.
Hmm.
The knowledge had to be realized. Without the realization, the knowledge is vain. It
Just
has no.
speculation. It's just right.
Personal experience. Personal experience.
Correct. So whatever is said here, we put to the test and we try to understand and try to realize. Because unless until realize bhakti is, it has to be put into practice, and that becomes a bhakti, right? On that. So there's another thing mentioned. Prabhuji talks about framework, ensures. What is talking about here? He talks of framework, ensures a comprehensive because each word has a meaning, balanced interpretation of theological concept. What we understand from these words. So framework we understood, right? It starts with the Shruti and then understanding some of those slokas, Vedanta Sutras, and they form the basis because we cannot go beyond the Vedas, right? That is there. So how once framework is established, how comprehensive and balanced interpretation of a theological concept. What is talking about here? Why we need a comprehensive?
Because then how to apply it? The theory can be so vast, but
Right.
there has to be a guidelines as to how to practice it. So to put into practice, there is it has to be comprised in with a balanced approach. So
Why
that's
the
why this
word
frame.
balance? Yeah. Next question. Why the balanced interpretation? One is you said comprehensive. A lot of things. He selects what is required, right? So what is the meaning of balanced interpretation?
I
Only
feel it.
go ahead, Mataji.
So the reality is absolute, and like how Prabhuji speaks of both the spectrums, as in when both the spectrums meet, it can be done only through the balanced way.
Interpretation.
From the
Yeah.
cosmos and the individual beings.
Otherwise, it's
Balancing.
open-ended. Today, we'll be seeing that how we start with the statement and opposing views and all that. We'll see here, right? Today, Prabhuji is going to elaborate on that. So, the second question is that he has given a wonderful example, and that is the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, first sloka, right? Jalmadech Yata. Can somebody explain that? How it justifies? That is the one Vedanta Sutra, right? One of 550 eight sutras. Read word by word and explain. Prabhuji has given.
Yeah, that the actual reality is coming from the absolute truth, from the absolute source only. So we are coming from him, but at the same time, we are different from him. We are different manifestations of the absolute truth.
Okay. So origin of both. He is a cosmos individual. So he is setting up that I am the everything, right? That is one very first Srimad Bhagavatam, first sloka. He is independent supremacy also. And it's Achinta Bheda Bhed Tattva. Also, it says that one could see how reality emanates from absolute source. So what is the interpretation? What is talking about absolute source? Reality emanates means what? What is the talk discuss here? Reality, that means creation, right? And maintenance. Everything is coming from that. Our creation, our also as well as nature. Correct. So structured reasoning, the commentary reconciles the simultaneous oneness and individuality of existence, right? So he is giving, everything is coming from the Lord. We are also individually separate, but we are part and parcel of that. So I think I have last one, which is pretty simple. Here philosophical debates of and school. So I have one question on this. Uh, Okay. Why Govinda Bhash is success story? Bring all previous philosophies into a single fold. I'm going to the next one. That was much simple. Summarize why Govinda Bhash is a success story of bringing all previous philosophies into single fold. Devotional to Lord, devotional service to Lord.
It highlights Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Achintya Bhedabhed philosophy into the Vedanta Sutra, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has integrated the main aspects of bhakti of all the other Vaishnava philosophies into one. So hence it is a success story into Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy.
Okay. But for all, right? Because he
But
integrates
for all,
all the
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
All the philosophies, they are little bit of a different perspective, but they point to the same. Prabhuji was talking about conduit yesterday, right? So all the philosophies, they are there. They are not absolutely on the wrong path, but he brought everybody on mainstream, and that is the essence of that. How over the time and circumstances, Lord intervenes and correct the main, keeping the main philosophy same, interprets there, and that was the role of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He brought everybody on the same Vaishnava philosophers on the same page, not isolating or leaving them. Right? That is what is the on that. So Prabhuji, I have completed
Prabhuji,
my.
may
Go
I
ahead.
just add one thing?
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Which is not there in the slide, just a feeling, could be wrong. Other philosophies have come from sampradayas, like from Lord Shiva, from the four Kumaras, the Shri Sampradaya. But here, Achintya Bhedabhed philosophy is directly from Lord Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself. So obviously it is going to be the ultimate philosophy. Because who can give the highest philosophy other than Lord Krishna?
Yeah, but that can be argued. I can be little devil here for a minute. Sri Sampradaya is also, Sri is not a Lord's energy, right? So it's
Yeah.
not there. So all other you look at that, they are whose incarnations are there. Lord also comes with a difference. So that is one argument, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not reject them, right? Then
Yeah,
had that
correct.
been there, he could have rejected them, but he integrated everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Go ahead.
And it is not just on the intellectual platform, but yeah, it's working on the divine level. So devotional service, how to perform, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, devotees, everybody. Thank you for participant. Charu Prabhuji, I done. Thanks. Thanks for the service. Thanks.
Very good service. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very well done. Thank you. And all the participants, congratulate. Haribol. So let me share my screen here. So today, what we are going to do is an inauguration. So we are going to be sort of initiation into this, taking lessons from this Govinda Bhasya. So you can see this is really left-hand corner on the top left side. That is Sri Baladev Vidyabhushanji. And Prabhuji talked about the historical aspect. Um, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya was actually challenged by the Ramanandis that you don't have a bona fide commentary on Vedanta Sutras. So how can you really, you have no right to serve the deities in this Jaipur temple. So that's why the king of Jaipur at that time, he approached uh, the leading authority of Gaudiya Vaishnavism in Vrindavan, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur at that time was very old actually. So he sent his Siksha disciple, and that is what Baladev Vidyabhushanji came, and he realized the gigantic task ahead of him. So he really, in a very humble mood, he prayed to the deity there, and deity is actually that you can see right there. Govindji deity is there, Shri Radha Govindji, right there. This is from a actual this temple, which is originally came from Vrindavan, to my knowledge. But Sharad Prabhuji can enlighten us a little bit more toward the end. So he approached the deities there, and Govindji was very much appreciative of that, his humility. So he came in his dream and told him, reassured him that don't worry, I will dictate to you. Nobody will be able to challenge you. So that's how this Govinda Bhasya commentary came into existence for all of us. And as you can see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu uh, is Krishna himself, but he came in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and Radharani is the embodiment, personification of the very bhakti process to Krishna. So that is the main element, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's coming there. So he united, Prabhuji very nicely coordinated into this thinking, how exactly this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's doctrine, philosophy, tattva of this achintya, Veda, Abheda, simultaneous, same and difference at the same time. And that how he really correlated with this Govinda Bhashya That was the main topic I was attempting to show all of you in this 11th prerequisite lesson, how these two Achinta Abheda philosophy coincided, coordinated with this Govinda Bhasya. Okay? So we are going to chant um, uh, the Pranama mantra of Sri Baladev Vidyabhushanji, and I will request Raksha Mataji to recite that verse. But first, I want to acknowledge this whole course. I'm just going to remain in the background. Um, so Srila Prabhupada is the one who really inspired all of us to come to this movement. So here, this particular program, that study program that we are going to study, that we have developed after many years. It's a thematic approach. You see the themes and then explanation of themes. So it's a thematically structured way of studying this Govinda Bhasya, just like as we did in Srimad Bhagavatam and all the other courses, some around 48 courses or so that are conducted in the last 2 decades. Everything I've done in that exactly same manner, So thematically structured study guide for Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan's Govinda Bhasya on this Vedanta Sutras. When somebody asks you, what is this Govinda Bhasya is all about? Bhasya means, it's a Sanskrit word. Bhasya means commentary. So what this commentary is all about really? So this commentary is on Vedanta Sutra, and that was compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, all right? And this commentary by this actual Vedanta Sutras were differentially explained, debated among different schools of Vaishnava schools, So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to kind of bring together and he picked the best. Remember, there was a what I call a philosophical spectrum, left to right. Left is more in line with Advaita Vedanta philosophy, okay, and then ultimate opposite end is the pure Dvaita philosophy. So Advaita Vada, not necessarily what was proposed previously by this great personality, of course, but he said that it was the only, no room for any kind of changes, absolute Advaitavada, absolute non-dualism. So that in between, there's a mix from left to right. So there is whole these things. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did that is to make a holistic view, the best elements of all 4 Vaishnava philosophies he put together and kind of rationalized. And that's what we see in this Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. And Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, by praying to Govindji, that Govinda Bhasya came that into existence, is exactly showing the pure Gaudiya Vaishnava point of view of what Srila Vyasadeva originally meant. And that original Vyasa Sutra, Vedanta Sutra, compiled by Vyasadeva himself, who actually compiled Srimad Bhagavatam also. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that the reason Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya did not write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra, because Srimad Bhagavatam itself, the same author, is on the commentary of this Vedanta Sutras actually. So that was the reason, But now that we were challenged by the Ramanandis, that's why this Govinda Bhasya came into existence, right? So you need to clearly understand the history behind it and what actually developed. That's what we need to understand. So Yes, I am the lead instructor, but I cannot work alone. This is a gigantic, really a marathon project, So I have help from all of you. So I'm hereby, I recognize all of you as part of we are the teamwork, okay? That will be working together to accomplish this, to pull off this gigantic task. Okay? So what we are going to do, Raksha Mataji is going to recite this particular verse. This is a pranam mantra actually of Shri Baladev Vidyabhushan Ji, and we are humbly praying to him that he may bless us to begin and complete to the very end, as I normally do any new course when I start, So Rakshabhata is going to recite this verse, and then all of us also simultaneously in a silent mood, we should also chant this verse. Okay. So Rakshamataji, I will
Yes,
invite you to
yes,
recite.
yes, Prabhuji. Huh. So, Prabhuji, before that, we can recite that pranam mantra of Govind, Radha Govind Dev Ji. May I?
All right. Okay. Yeah, sure.
हाँ श्री श्री राधा गोविंद देव जी की जय हो। कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम। दिव्य वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमत् रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमत् राधाशिल गोविंद देवो प्रेष्ठालिभि सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। क्या बलदेव विद्याभूषण की चरण कमल में कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम। गोविंद देव दयितं परमार्थपूर्णम् वित्वत्स्वहो जयपुरे जयभूषितं वे न्यायश्रुतिस्मृतिविवादसमोर्ध्वहीनं वेदान्तरिक्तबलदेवयतिं नमामि।
Okay. So we all chant this verse within ourselves. Okay. So that way we are really being initiated under the direction of Shri Baladev Vidyabhushan Ji, that he may bless us to let us understand and complete the whole course. So word by word meaning I have already given here. So I won't go into detail, but you need to understand exactly the personality behind Shri Baladev Vidyabhushan Ji. So I'll read the translation. I offer my humble obeisances. So listen very, very carefully, okay? I offer. So we all are offering humble obeisances at the lotus feet of Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Ji, being very dear to Sri Govindji, Lord Govindji, who actually came into his dream and dictated the entire commentary, okay? And surcharged with transcendental knowledge. So Lord not only dictated the commentary to him, but he actually empowered him, blessed him personally. He became decorated with victory. So he already blessed him that you will be victorious. Your commentary will go down the history. And that's why it has come to us now. In the assembly of learned scholars in Jaipur. So he defended that commentary by the various schools, especially Ramanandis, and they were all dumb, speechless, seeing, and that we are going to see actually to next week onwards, how very, very wonderfully, philosophically, and methodically this commentary explains the inner essence of the Vedanta Sutras of Srila Vyasadeva. All right. So, what a wonder! Nobody was equal or superior to him in debate. That is, we are talking about Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Ji on the Shruti. So he was very well known. In fact, if you read the biography of Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Ji, I really encourage all of you to look it up. He was actually originally in Madhva Sampradaya, actually. And then he joined Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So he knew both aspects. that Gaudiya Vaishnavism is an offshoot of Madhva Sampradaya. Madhva Sampradaya originally came from Lord Brahma. So that's what we are called Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, actually. Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is known as that. So what a wonder, nobody was equal or superior to him in debates. So he was very well, great, recognized authority at that time in Shruti, Smruti, and Nyaya. Nyaya means the logic, very logical way. And as we enter into it, the whole Govinda Bhasya becomes unfolding. Then we'll see a very sharp deductive method that he used, and very extensively he used the Shruti, particularly Upanishad mantras, Upanishad verses, because those were the Upanishads where these challenges were talking about. Okay, so he used those verses that they were interpreting in a different manner, and he rightly interpreted exactly uh, the way original Srila Vyasadeva meant, actually, because Srila Vyasadeva, his Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutras. So who else? So, and he used this both, largely he uses Upanishads like Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, Svetasvatara Upanishad, and so on like that. And occasionally he also utilized verses from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And Nyaya. Nyaya means, remember, one of the six philosophies of Vedic philosophy that we did that. Why I did that? Very carefully I designed those 11 lessons as a prerequisite. So this Nyaya philosophy is also utilized that in a very nice deductive way. Logically, he explains this, and we are going to see the structure of Govinda Bhasya in a few moments. So, for he possessed the treasure of fully knowing the conclusion of all Vedic scriptures. He was very well versed, and he was naturally blessed by the Supreme Lord himself, Shri Govindji. So everything was coming straight from his heart. So here is the deity that you see, Shri Radha Govindji temple today in Jaipur. And I think some of you actually visited there. Um, so here,
Prabhuji, I visited for 5 weeks back, and such a wonderful in 5 days.
Visited,
Prabhuji, I have also visited. So wonderful
Good.
temple.
Please,
5
Prabhuji,
days.
share with us some pictures of the deities, okay?
Yeah, 4 days. 5 days. I visited 4 times, and every time thrilling experience. I'll talk at the end. I'll tell something at the end.
Wonderful. We'll give you time. So it's a very brief biography of Srila Baladev Vidya Bhushan Ji. He was in this, born around 1700. It's not exactly clear, but 1700 to 1793. So he survived almost in his 90s. He's the author of Govinda Bhasya, but of course he never claimed himself. Since it was dictated to him by Govindji himself, Lord Govinda, so he named after him, after the Lord. So he, the commentator of Srila Vyasadev's Vedanta Sutra, sometimes it's called Brahma Sutra also, was one of the most prominent Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnavas Acharyas, because he was trained by none other than Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur himself. He was his Siksha disciple. He was born near the village near Ramuna, Orissa, and Sharad Prabhuji is explained in the past also. He might do again. The place Ramuna, how it is famous temple of Khirachora, Gopinath is located. And his philosophy, of course, is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's achieved the Abheda philosophy. Bheda, sameness, and difference, abheda. And his Diksha Guru was His Holiness Radha Damodar Goswami, and his Siksha Guru is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's a very, very brief biography. But I would encourage you to read a more detailed account of it. So here is a very brief introduction and a preview. Oh, first and foremost, this question we must always be ready to answer. Why do we need to study Vedanta Sutras? And that too, especially from Govinda Bhasya perspective, because Vedanta Sutra of Srila Vyasadeva was totally differentially explained, commented by these different Vaishnava acharyas, especially coming from Advaitavadis. Advaitavadis totally twisted around really. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, he actually debated that when he went to Varanasi, where the Mayavadi philosophers were on the topmost over that time. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, went there and he really debated with them and said, what is the essence, the ultimate objective of Srila Vyasadeva that he explained. And that's how this whole thing, that we are going to be reviving that the way it was explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself in the words of Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan ji. So that we must all be prepared to answer this first question. Second, what is the very definition of sutra? Actually, we did Narada Sutra, remember? So sutra, what is the basic definition? Sutra is actually an aphorism, English word for that. So there is a verse for that, and it's actually I've taken it from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So and then we'll have a brief introduction. Vedanta is a state of absolute consciousness. So there are 12 thematic elements, and there I took it from this wisdom library. And as I'll show you shortly, I'm going to tell you some other textbooks on this Govinda Bhasya, but they all have their own translation and somewhat differing there. So I prefer that actual wisdom library, because that is the exactly an authenticated translation, English translation of Kushakruta Prabhu, who actually was translated from Sanskrit to English. So fourth element, what is exactly the structure, how it is very methodically Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan ji structured the entire Govinda Bhasya. And that is very important for us to understand that, how it's structured. So I'll briefly give you some feel for it. So there are 16 divisions. So there are 4 chapters, and each chapter has 4 sections. So 4 into 4, 16. That's why it's called Shodasa. Shodasa English Sanskrit word, 16 part. That's why I give you the 16 segments or 16 divisions of Govinda Bhasya. And I'm just up to today, this afternoon, I just finished the first 3 parts. So I will also give you some idea about reference books. Those of you will be giving classes based on my PowerPoints. I would really encourage them to read the other books that I recommend. At least 2 that I'll show you. But my PowerPoints are strictly based on that what is given in that website, Wisdom Library, and that is the bona fide English translation of Govinda Bhasya itself. In these 2 books, they are kind of somewhat differentially, by and large, I liked it, but some points I didn't like. That's why I didn't adopt that, But those who are going lectures, they must study that, okay? So why do we need to study, first of all? To apply the principles of Vedantic thought to the universal questions of life. What is the universal questions of life? First, birth, death, old age, diseases. That is applicable to everyone, no matter what, right? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Okay? And then the other three, Adi Bhautik, Adi Atmik, Adi Daivik. Difficulties come from our own mind and our physical body, and difficulties come other people. Okay, and then there's a third element, Adi Daivik, the natural disasters like this earthquake and so on, like that. You know, so these sevenfold miseries we have. What is the ultimate solution? And that lies right there. Srimad Bhagavatam we study, and the Bhagavatam is the commentary developed by Srila Vyasadeva himself in his Vedanta Sutras. So that is what we are going to study. We are going to find the solutions for that, all these sevenfold miseries of material existence. The essence of Vedanta, now this read very, I'm reading it very carefully, so listen very, very carefully. The essence of Vedanta is not so much a particular philosophical or theological interpretation. It is there, but that is not the main idea. Okay, what is the main idea then? But a fresh and living approach to solving the real problems of life for everyone's practical benefit. So if you study and if you understand the way Vyasadeva himself meant of Vedanta Sutras, then you will be able to understand. You don't have to come back in this material world again. You bypass, and ultimately become qualified to go back to spiritual world, such as the problems of suffering and death. So that everybody should be able to answer that, okay? Why do we need to study? Because answers are there in Govinda Bhasya. It is there in Bhagavatam, but Bhagavatam is a commentary of Veda Sutra. So Vedanta, the end of all the Vedas, that's the very meaning of Vedanta, what Srila Vyasa says. So the end of all the knowledge given in the Vedas and Upanishads is exactly Vedanta Sutras. In fact, that is the sixth school of Veda philosophy. The Vedic philosophy is right there, actually, It's the Uttar Mimamsha. Mimamsa is questioning. What first there's a Purva Mimamsha and then the Uttar Mimamsa. Uttar Mimamsa exactly, that's the Vedanta Sutra. So first here's the verse. What is exactly Sutra? We came across this definition when we did Narada Sutra also. So here, Alpa Aksharam, each word carries a deep meaning. Alpa Aksharam Asandigdam Saravat Vishwato Mukham. Astobham, not Ashto, okay? How you pronounce make a big difference in the meaning. Ashta means eightfold, right? But it's not in that sense given. It's called Asto. Asa, there's in Sanskrit, there's a sta, sha, and sha, like that, So Astobham Anavadyam cha and Sutram Sutra Vido Viduhu. So a sutra is compilation of aphorisms. Sutra is exactly English translation, is aphorism that express the essence of knowledge in a minimum number of words. Okay, some it's more likely it's but no more than 2, 3, 4 words. Occasionally it goes to 5, 6 words, and it's not a clear sentence structure. Okay, and yet very brief in few words there's a so much deep philosophy buried in it. That's why it's difficult to understand that. So it must be universally applicable and faultless. These are the basic elements of any sutra in its linguistic presentation. So I have word by word, I'm giving you the meaning. What is Alpa Aksharam? Alpa means very little. So Alpa Aksharam means very few words. That which uses the fewest number of syllables. The very first Vedanta Sutra that we are going to be doing next week. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. So only two words are there. But the entire 558 sutras, the base of that, the common denominator is this very first sutra, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, that we'll see next week. Then comes asandigdam, that which is not ambiguous. Okay, you will see a little difficult to understand the word when we say ambiguous. Not ambiguous means it cannot be different things, but there is a different way of interpreting it. This way, different philosophers have a different way, sometimes way different than actually what Vedanta Sutra, what Srila Vyasadeva meant. And this was the reason because of that, differentially interpretation. But actually, it is not ambiguous. Then Saravat. Sara means the very essence. The very essence it gives, that is Saravat, that which is the very essence. Then Vishvato Mukham. Vishvato Mukham, that which has significant meaning, that is universally applicable worldwide. Okay? And then Astobham, that which does not have the typical sentence structure. So you'll very likely see no verb, no adverbs, no adjectives, straight what it meant to convey. That's what we see in this. Okay? So, and then Anavadyam, that which is not defective. In a exact sense, it is not defective. So here are the three sources, but mostly my PowerPoints are based on this Wisdom Library, which is the bona fide authenticated translation, English translation of actual sutras that is given in Govinda Bhasya. In these three books that I mentioned here, they are being translated by them sometimes themselves, and sometimes it differs a little bit. And I kind of felt uneasy about it. That's why I did not want to recommend for the average participant in this course. But those who are going to give classes, they better study that. It does help, no doubt about it, But sometimes you need to be careful. So I very carefully studied all these three. By and large, I liked it. But sometimes they give a differential interpretation, which I didn't like, what originally Baladev Vidyabhushanji meant in Sanskrit verses. So there's a Vedanta Sutta. This is a series of books will be there. Only the first volume is out, and very highly I recommend those of you are really deeply interested in Govinda Bhasya, what exactly Baladev Vidyabhushanji meant in that. Then there's a Brahma Sutra. It was translated by His Holiness Bhanuswami Maharaj. He is very prolific writer. Many books in Gaudiya Vaishnavism actually was translated by His Holiness Bhanuswami Maharaj. So here also I find little bit differences are there. That's why I didn't wholly liked it, but by and large it's okay. Then the third one is this Vedanta Sutra. It is given by this one of the Acharya, who was actually a disciple of Prashna Prabhupada, but then he did not belong to ISKCON, So I'll be little kind of have a little reservation about that. Nonetheless, it does give some good things. So we need, as a devotee, we need to absorb something that is good, and that something is not so good, we ignore it. Because ultimately they are all great devotees, great acharyas, no doubt about it. Okay, so here is the how it is structured, the Govinda Bhasya. And yes, the slide looks a little complicated, but I'll try to make it simple. And as we go next week onwards, we are going to actually see it practically. Okay, the way it is designed, the way it is structured, the way it is put together. So there are 4 chapters. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and each chapter there are 4 sections. So chapter in Sanskrit is called adhyaya. You know, so this chapter 1 that is called Brahman is the subject matter. It's very well defined what is Brahman and described in great length. This first chapter. So first chapter is the most. It sets the stage, the entire stage for the rest of the Govinda Bhashya. So Brahman we are going to study, and you will study, you will understand, you will know Brahman is not that generally being defined by Advaitavadis. It's not necessarily just you know uh, totally effort all the no attributes nirguna nirakara. It's not exactly that we are going to see in Govinda Bhasha Sutras. As you will see, the same Brahman is also explained uh, as that, as energy, and also explained as the super soul aspect of it. And also later on, it'll see that Brahman itself is Bhagavan realization is also there in that. All 3 aspects of the absolute truth is being explained in this commentary. And remember, this commentary was dictated by the Lord Himself, Govindji. Okay, so there is no question about it. That's exactly what Brahman is all about. Okay, so each chapter uh, will see methodically each of the chapters. But how my purpose here to show you how it is structured, put together. So each chapter, there are 4 chapters. Each chapter has 4 divisions. So division is called pada. Okay, pada means actually quarter. So 4 quarters make the circle complete, right? So each chapter has 4 quarters. So that's called pada. And within that pada, there are different called adhikaranas. Adhikaranas. Adhikarana means what? So explanation of that. In a moment we'll see in what way this explanation is meant by that. Okay. So there are, see, that Pada 1 has 11 adhikaranas, Pada 2 has 7. So there are different levels of adhikarana, different numbers of adhikarana is there, and each adhikarana could have one or many sutras. So the way the sutra is designated as, that's the first verse, 1.1.1. So let's say Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam means say 1.1.1. What is Bhagavatam? One means skanda, right? The canto. Second one is the chapter. The third one is the verse itself. So 1.1.1 means first canto, first chapter, first verse. So here is also like that. The first chapter, the very first verse is also like 1.1.1. So 1 stands for a chapter, the second one stands for a particular pada, okay, and the third is actual sutra. So there are 31 sutras. So let's say you want to name a 25th sutra. So it's called 1. So because it's coming from first chapter, 1.1. Point 1 comes from the first pada, first quarter, and the actual verse 25th, like that. 1.1.225. So that's exactly the way the whole 4 chapters are there. And I've already listed you the first chapter is the very definition and explanation what Brahman is all about. In this totally about 135 sutras are there. Second chapter is all about the conflict with Vedanta and other Vedic scriptures. that we will see. Third chapter is all about bhakti process. Very deep knowledge what bhakti is all about. So far you already learned in Bhagavatam in a great way. But now in Vedanta Sutra, you'll be amazed how deeply it's bhakti, it's analyzed. In fact, a lot of material for my doctoral thesis coming from this particular second chapter of Vedanta Sutras. So there, you see number of sutras I already mentioned. And the fourth chapter is about what is the result of gaining, understanding the transcendental knowledge. Remember, the whole Vedanta Sutra is the solution to sevenfold miseries of material existence. So we are going to see that in that. So that's also, all four chapters are extremely important. So this is the first chapter has totally 135 sutras. Second chapter has 155 sutras. Third chapter has 190 sutras, which is so not all four chapters are equal. Okay, never, okay. So this third chapter, which is all about bhakti, there is the largest one, 190 sutras. The fourth chapter is the smallest one, only 78 sutras. And if you see Pada 1, Pada 2, Part 3, Part 4, generally by and large in all four chapters, Pada 4 has the minimum number of sutras actually, except this exception is in this third chapter. Okay, so right now my intention is to give you an overview, bird's eye view. Okay, a bird is flying over a forest. So what's the entire forest in its entirety? What it looks like? That is what I'm trying to give you. Then we'll zoom it in each chapter, and each chapter will be further expanded. So far I completed PowerPoints for this first chapter. It's about 24% of the, so 1/4 of the entire Govinda Bhasya. And it takes a long time to really write prepare PowerPoints for this, very, very challenging. Deep study required, wording how you want it. I did take advantage of the AI technology, but basically AI, when you want to utilize, it helps, no doubt about it. Large amount of material, it'll summarize the basic highlights, it'll give you a split second. Okay? But then you have to dictate to him, dictate to that, there's no person behind that. It's impersonal. So you really have to train that, what exactly you want and how you want it. Unless then, so I had to take a lot of draft and everything. That's how I designed that. So there are totally 558 sutras, 200 plus adhikaranas. Adhikaranas are very important. In a moment, we'll see what exactly adhikarana means. So we'll take a short break here. Are there any questions thus far? Because now the second part, we are actually diving into it, So it's a good idea to stop here and see if there are any questions, comments.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So one question I have. So as you said that there are total 558 sutras, which covers entire Veda, and so we'll be covering all those 558 sutras, or we'll be taking some of them which are relevant. How it works?
Each and every sutras will individually study.
Individual will
That's
study.
the challenge.
Okay. And again, coming back, we just saw Pada and then
Sutra by sutra will go that. Sutra by sutra.
But approach is not sutra by sutra. As I say, approach is by the chapter into that pada and then adhikarna. And the adhikarna has different sutras. So it is not one sutra and the details. It is not like that.
No, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Each chapter, when we'll begin with that, there are several adhikaranas, right? So each of the adhikaranas, like the first chapter, first pada has 10 adhikaranas. 10 or 9, I forgot that. So each adhikarana, you will see in my PowerPoint. Okay. In each adhikarana, in a moment, I'm just about to show you that, But since you asked, I'm just trying to explain you. Each adhikarana, there'll be a couple slides, 2-3 slides might be there, okay? Or sometimes more. And then each pada, so each pada will have several adhikaranas, right? And each adhikarana will have one or many sutras. So each of the sutras, you will see my PowerPoint description of that. And each of the sutras, there will be a collective analysis and individual analysis. Individual analysis, each sutra will be discussed at length, and then the collective sutra analysis. Each sutra is built upon the next one like that. All right. So there is a very harmonious way. This is the amazing part of this entire Govinda Bhasya. All 558 sutras are coming from building from the previous sutras. And the base of whole 558 sutras is the first one, the most important, the most important that the next week we'll be talking about. The entire lesson is on this first sutra only, one sutra. Then 2, 3, 4. The next series of lectures will be Ashina Mataji and Sharad Prabhuji will be there too also. These are the most important sutras. So,
thank you, Prabhuji.
So what I'm telling you, we will be discussing each sutra at great length. This is going to be structured. I've structured my PowerPoints along that line. Any more other questions?
So Prabhuji, to prove one sutra, there are related sutra also to reference, मतलब उनका evidence, like evidence कि ये सूत्र से prove होता है कि ये सूत्र is right. ऐसा
Yes.
प्रभुजी?
Yes, I'll show you the structure. We just wait and let me complete.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I'm describing all this entire structure of Govinda Bhasya. That is my main purpose in today's class, all right? So what is the structure of Govinda Bhasya? So there are 4 chapters, as I told you, and also giving you some idea about what are each chapters are focusing on that. So 4 chapters called Adhyayas, and the 4 divisions called Padas, right? Or sections. In each chapter, hence, it's called Sodashapada, 16 part, 16 divisions. Right? You understood everybody now? 16 division means part.
Yes, Prabhuji, understand.
For each chapter, there are 4 chapters. 4 into 4, 16. So chapter 1 and 2, in terms of Sambandha Jnana, in this, what is the way it is described? Chapter 1 and 2, this Sambandha Jnana is an interrelationship between the Jivatman, we the living entities, the embodied spirit soul, there is Jivatman, and the Supreme God, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. So what is our interrelationship? Remember, what is the absolute truth? We covered all 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas. So you should be very, very well proficient in understanding what that is all about. That was the main objective. Why? Because I knew when I screened the entire 558 sutras for one whole month, I studied before sitting down and structuring this course, and that on that basis, I designed those 11 lessons, prerequisite lessons. Unless until you understood that, it'll be very difficult. If you understood well, it'll be very, very useful to that. So chapter 1 and 2 is about Sambandha Jnana. So absolute truth in 3 ways, right? Brahman, Super Soul, Paramatman, and Bhagavan aspect. There's one aspect. But by and large, in terms of Sambandha Jnana, what is the interrelationship, the 3 entities, Supreme Lord, okay, we the Jivatmans, the third element is Trikona, triangle. Third aspect is Jagata, this material world. So here we are talking about interrelation between Jivatman and Supreme Personality Godhead. 2 chapters are focusing on that. Third chapter, it's all about, I told you, third chapter is all about bhakti process. So what is the way sadhana bhakti? Now you all must know what is sadhana bhakti. Obviously, basic, very fundamental, basic knowledge of sadhana bhakti. There are 2 kinds of sadhana bhakti, right? Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and raganuga sadhana bhakti. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, there are 3 components are there. Right? First, that we should use our own bodily senses. Remember, you also covered the very cause of our material existence is because of our, come on, help me. I'm asking a question. What is the very cause of our material
Because of
existence?
our desires.
Desire, material desire.
How one carries out the desires or bodily senses, right?
Yes.
So bodily senses, the mind. So body-mind complex is the very cause. But in bhakti process, sadhana bhakti, the same body-mind complex utilize. Loha
Yes.
kills
लोहे को
loha,
काटता है.
iron kills loha, right? So poison kills poison. एक थॉर्न है जो घुसा हुआ है हमारे पैर में, उसको निकाल के दूसरा कांटा निकलना चाहिए, right? So one thorn is utilized to another thorn to get it out. So the same body-mind complex utilize in bhakti under the guidance of Vedic rules and regulations, Vedic injunctions, under the bona fide guru, how they can explain to us how it is to be done. So there are 3 components of Vedic sadhana bhakti. Vedic means rules and regulations. And the Raganuga bhakti, Vedic sadhana bhakti is meant for those who do not have natural affinity hearing Krishna Katha. So you develop by practice. So Vedic sadhana bhakti helps you that. But those who have natural love for the Supreme Lord and he wants to know more, so that is for them, it's Ragana Bhakti. So Ragana Bhakta are following in the footsteps those who are Ragatmika Bhakta. So these are fundamentals. I'm sure most of you know about it, almost all of you. But I'm just trying to remind you. But here we are going to go in much greater depth. So chapter 3 about sadhana bhakti. So chapter 4 is about the prayojana. So see the three levels: Sammadha Jnana and Abhideya and Prayojana. Prayojana means the goal. Goal is what? So Prayojana Jnana means the ultimate goal of the human form of life. Ultimate goal is what? First, to become free from material existence, solve the sevenfold miseries, and then develop, then go back to spiritual world, right? But the ultimate goal is to develop prema for the Supreme Lord. Okay? And if Supreme Lord comes to the material world, we wish to come back as part of his entourage. That is the super ultimate goal. Okay, so then what I told you about the adhikaranas. Each chapter has, each pada, each quarter has several adhikaranas. So what are the each adhikarana has 5 characteristic subject matters. Pratigya, what is pratigya? A solemn declaration of the purpose of this particular treatise. So we really make a solemn promise, to understand what is exactly the purpose of each these things. So all these 5 elements are there in each adhikarana. In each adhikarana, you will see in my PowerPoints, all for all 558 sutras. So you can realize what was a challenge for me. And how Govinda Bhasya has all these elements, the way it is crafted together, put together, This is the way it is put together. So 5 elements of each adhikaranas are there. Pratigya. And what is the purpose? Hetu. Reasons must be expressed. Why it is so. Why this particular sutra is there. So that is there in the adhikaranas. So before you go to each of the sutras, you need to study adhikaranas also. And each adhikarana, there are 4 elements. The 5 right here, right? I've given you. Then in a moment I'll show you the 4 that comes in each. But all 4 elements that I'm talking about has these 5 elements of it. Okay? So first, what Srila Baladev Vidyabhushani does, it gives you a Vishaya. Vishaya, what is the subject matter? Thesis statement. What is it all about? All right. So comes Vishaya. So 4 parts. Vishaya, then comes, so Vishaya is usually much more descriptive, tends to be much more descriptive. Lot of references, scriptural references, Baladev Vidyabhushanji gives, and we will study each of those um, Upanishadic verses, how it supports the main conclusion of the commentator. Okay, so first part is Vishaya, second part is Samshaya. The opposing party raises the arguments, doubts, completely opposite to what Vedic realization, Vedic injunctions. So that Samshaya, he addresses those opposing elements. What are the doubts? And how based on those doubts, how the opposing theory is built upon. It's called Purva Paksha. Third element is Purva Paksha. Existing theory that is opposing to the main sutras, what Srila Vyasadeva meant. So the author very clearly commented, very clearly points out that. And the fourth one, how it's being resolved, how the Purva Paksha is defeated. It comes in the fourth element called Siddhanta. Siddhanta means Vedic final word. So these 4 elements that is given, 5 elements given here, basically what I'm talking about, mostly about 4. So Pratigya, Hetu, Udaharana, commentator gives lots of examples that must be given as various facts. And then Upanaya. Upanaya means what? An understanding of a given theme must follow. So there is a thematic approach there too also. And then Nigamana. Nigamana means authoritative quotation from Vedic Shastras. It's very much like this Udaharana. That's why I don't differentiate much about it. So many Upanishadic verses are by and large is given actually. First, mostly major 10 Upanishads. By and large, it is Brahma Aranika Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Svetasvatara Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, and some few more. But by and large, those 4 or 5, So try to understand the basic structure of that. And the question that was asked by Radha Vinod Prabhuji, is are we going to study each sutra and how is it not? This is the way we are going to study each and every adhikarana, each and every sutra in this way. So my PowerPoints are built on that. Exactly the way what the commentator is explaining in his Govinda Bhasya. Okay, here it is, the 5 different subject matters. Now here the explanation of what an adhikarana means, which fully describe each and every pada, everything stepwise, very methodically structured. Okay. Remember I told you 4 chapters, each chapter has 4 padas. Okay, and each pada will have 1 or more adhikaranas, and each adhikarana will have 1 or more sutras. So we'll fully describe What is the goal of each chapter? What is the goal of each pada? What is the goal of each adhikarana? Everything follows stepwise in a structured manner. So Vishaya, so that's what I was telling you. Remember, I just explained you all this. Vishaya means what's the very basic statement, thesis. What you are going to actually study, what you are going to actually prove. That's the Vishaya. Okay? Vishaya means the subject matter. Then Samshaya, the opposing element, somebody raises doubts. No, this cannot be Supreme Personality Godhead. This must be Jivatman himself. Then the commentator defeats that. No, Jivatma has a limited capacity. The Supreme is whatever he has that comes from the Supreme Authority. The Supreme Authority is the one, So that many of sutras you will see that it's the common thread of all these things. So samshaya means the arisal of doubt in a tenable. And remember, the opposing persons, opposing elements, opposing arguments are very, very strongly presenting, and they also back it up with sutras, with Upanishadic verses. So same Upanishadic verses, the commentator defeats them. It's a really interesting to really watch. You'll be amazing when you dive into deeper. You'll see all these things. And that is what I fell in love right at the first sight when I decided I want to study Vedanta Sutra. It is challenging, not easy. Okay, but nonetheless, if you have that burning fire in your belly, no matter how difficult it is, how challenging it is, you are going to do it. And that's where you need the blessings from the Supreme Lord and his devotees. So then comes, based on this samshaya, there comes Purva Paksha, pre-existing theory that you need to defeat. That's what he does that. All the previous acharyas, previous sampradayas, they have particular philosophy where could be right, where they could be wrong. So this commentator, Srila Vidya Bhushanji, ultimately coming from Govindji, he defeats those things in a very methodical way. Same Upanishadic verses, what needs to be interpreted in a right way, what it originally meant. And that was actually done by Vyasadeva in his sutras in a very systematic way, but only in the fewest number of words. Here, commentator explains that the ultimate objective of Srila Vyasadeva. So then comes the Siddhanta. Siddhanta means determination of the actual truth, where the samshaya, where the Purvapaksha is wrong, then it's going to be pointed out and proven in a methodical, deductive way. Nyaya. Determination of the actual truth, the final Vedic conclusion in the form of the sutras. So Adhikarana will give you that these four elements. Okay? And based on that, Govinda Bhasya will give a series of sutras. And each sutra is built upon the previous one. Okay? And sutra also a particular design, structure, sangati or consistency. Very important, consistency. Each adhikarana remain harmonious with the Vedic literature. Very strong scriptural basis there. And each of the adhikarana, each of the sutras. And that's why I'm telling you, it became necessary, absolutely necessary. First I thought, just like Bhagavatam, we used to do a group of verses, right? Otherwise it was not possible. But here I saw an absolute necessity to go by each sutras. So this is Sangati, okay? And there are very technical words are there. Scriptural consistency, chapter-wide consistency. See, everything is so great, very, very intelligently crafted together. how much deep thought must have gone in it. So scriptural consistency must be there. Chapter-wide consistency must be there. In each chapter to another chapter, methodical way is given. Section-wide consistency. Section means padas. Each quarter is built upon the previous quarter. So pada 1, 2, 3, 4, the two must follow in the line which is given, explained in pada 1. And third pada will depend upon the first two padas. Fourth will depend upon the first three padas. Like that. And adhikarana is also structured exactly the way. Okay, the conclusion of Vedanta Sutra. This is a book by Chaitanya Chandradas. Very wonderful book. I recommend, but it also has some drawbacks in it, that I detected, So you need to watch out that. That's the reason I studied it, and I keep in my mind when I write, but I follow strictly what is given by Kushakruta English translation, which is very faithful translation of what exactly Govinda Bhasya commentary meant in Sanskrit. Okay? So there are 9 elements of it. Now we'll go one by one. How much time do I have, Sarat Prabhuji?
Prabhuji, about 10-15 minutes. If we
Or-
have, if we go for, but I don't think 30 minutes of discussion time is required today. You can take 20 minutes or so.
Okay, thank you. But I want discussion. So
Yes,
there's a historical context of the Vedas, how the Vedas were destructed, then how it's rebuilt. So yugas, that's given in Bhagavatam is also about that. The knowledge was lost, and Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna begins with that. The original knowledge was lost in the course of time, and that's why Bhagavatam knowledge was reintroduced. So same here is also like that. So the historical aspect is there. The core assertion of the Vedanta Sutras, supremacy of Lord Vishnu, okay, and philosophical insights is given there, the way it is given right here. I won't go detail. This is just an introduction. 5 foundational truth, tattvas. These are important. So first, Ishvara, who is the Supreme Personality Godhead, the Supreme Controller. Then the Jivatmans. Third, this Prakriti, material nature. And then Kala, time. And then Karma. Exactly what these 5 elements are given in Bhagavad Gita, right? Bhagavad Gita is also built on these 5 elements. But here we'll go in much philosophical depth. Incarnation of Krishna, Dvaipayana, Vyasa. Remember, Srila Vyasadeva is an incarnation of Lord Narayana himself. So restoration of knowledge to address this misconception, Krishna, Dvaipayana, Vyasa, incarnation of Lord Narayana, he established these Vedanta Sutras. He knew about it, what's going to happen. A complete misrepresentation, misinterpretation will be there. So he wrote the Vedanta Sutra with that situation in his mind, But nonetheless, the other people did misinterpret the Vedanta Sutra themselves. That's why this commentary became very important. And that was realized by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. And this is the book that I was telling you about, Chaitanya Charana. By and large, this book is great. I recommend very highly, though. I given a mind map memory, a summary of that chapters. Okay. So this is what I'm continuing. First 5 I just talked about. Now 6, 7, 8, 9. The purpose of the spiritual practice, purification of consciousness through loving devotional service, prema bhakti, eternal nature and occupation, Sanatana Dharma, inverted reflection. Then the eighth point, understanding the Upanishad and Vedanta Sutra, the way it is to be understood, that the point is made very clearly in this book, Vedanta Sutra commentary. And coming in disciplic succession, the way it is to be meant. Okay, so Upanishad should be studied under the guidance of realized teacher. Otherwise, you will very likely misinterpret. So their true meanings, and this in here the commentator takes extra pain in making us explaining that what actually means, and in a very methodical, logical way that is explained how these each Upanishadic sutras are misinterpreted by others. In the Samshaya and Purvapaksha, their way of understanding verses is being corrected right here, and in a way that very convincingly, persuasively, it is explained that. So all these elements, and I don't have much time to go individually, but you will see its own application in each of these sutras that we'll be discussing. You will see the application of these things. Okay, if you have time, go through that, and then this conclusions of these 12 elements that is there I given you before in the previous chapter, these 12 elements that I given you, that is being explained right here in these 6 themes. The thematic exploration of the Govinda Bhasya illuminates Vedanta as a profound journey towards the ultimate truth, emphasizing that the quest for knowledge and understanding is universal human drive. So this is the way it is given, how it should be understood in a way that is the way particular method is given, how to rightfully interpret and how to defeat misrepresentation. It articulates the necessity of truth as essential nourishment for the intellect, revealing that higher qualities of truth lead to deeper satisfaction. So that is for a common person on the street, they don't understand this kind of complexities. So you have to make them understand in a way that is easily understood. That is what is the attempt is made here in this Govinda Bhashya. When we go actual verses sutras, then you will realize the way what I've being described here, and I've taken from that book actually, And in the book, he does a very good job, the author, Through a structured practice that intertwines philosophical inquiry and personal experience, Vedanta transcends mere theoretical constructs, evolving into the transformative state of consciousness. So your very consciousness is going to be altered. How this pre-existing, this Purvapaksha, how it dominated, and something that is dominant and taken deep root, how do you uproot it? That's remarkably shown by this Baladev Vidyabhushanji. Of course, ultimately it's coming from Govindji, Lord Govinda. Very, very marvelous way. The deep-rooted previous philosophy, which was wrong, established by Mayavadis, their interpretation of Vedanta Sutra, the way it is defeated right here. It's amazing. Okay, the principles illustrated in this commentary guide practitioners. So these are the approaches that he uses that I'm showing you. But we are going to show you actual examples of that. Then you will understand better. Okay, so don't be afraid. Don't be worried about that. Now you don't understand, but when we actually go, and 558 times we'll go. By the time you come to the end, you'll be thoroughly convinced. 558 times each point is repeated. Isn't it amazing? Haribol. Thank you. So it's open for discussion now. So please feel free, okay? So this is just introduction, but nonetheless, I what I've done, I try to chart and navigate a path that we will follow. Exactly footsteps of this commentator. The PowerPoints are built also exactly in that fashion. Yes.
This is so wonderful. 558 is our new lucky number. Wonderful. So, just like Athato Brahma Jigyasa, is there any sutra which clearly tells, I'm just reading previous and ahead of time, probably, which clearly specifies that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Like in Bhagavatam, we have the verse Krishna's to Bhagwan Suren. Can we call it as a sutra?
Can you call it as what?
Sutra.
Sutra. Sutra is basically
Krishna's to Bhagwan Suren. Is that a sutra or is that a?
Yeah, it sounds like it's a Paribhasa Sutra. Remember, Jiva Goswami characterized as a Paribhasa Sutra because there is no verb, no adverb, no adjectives. Krishna to Swam Bhagavan. But actual words, when you go, full explanation is given, right? But if you take only few words like that, Krishna to Swam Bhagavan, that's a sutra. It's called Paribhasa Sutra, defining sutra, defining the verse itself. It's Jiva Goswami's own words, Paribhasa.
Yes. Yes. Very wonderful, Prabhu. Very excited. Thank you very much for simplifying things for us so nicely.
Any other questions, comments? Don't be worried about, okay? This sounds like very complex, but it's going to go build upon understanding one sutra after another sutra. After a while, initially I have also a lot of difficulty. But then later on I realize the style, the way Govinda Bhasya is going about, then rest was just downhill. The first chapter itself now I understood completely. So now it's all downhill for me. So same thing will happen to you. As we continue this first chapter, and if you pay attention, if you make effort to go through my PowerPoints and our recap, where we do the recap, you will feel the same. Chapter 2, 3, 4 will be downhill then.
So, Prabhuji, question is now, right now highlighted 4 chapters, and then there will be 4 more. Are there total 16 chapters to cover everything?
4. There are only 4 chapters. Each chapter
પ્રભુજી
has
હું સમજાવી શકું તમારા તબિયત બરાબર નથી લાગતી.
Yeah. We will wait.
Each chapter has a 4 sections. All 4 chapters, each of them has 4 sections. So 4 into 4, 16. So they are not 16 chapters.
No, after this is the end of that, only 4 chapters total?
You can call it 16 divisions. So like right now I prepare PowerPoints for the 3 out of 16 divisions.
Okay, I understood.
Three padas of the first chapter.
Yeah, so understand one chapter, talks about one, second chapter talks about divinity, third chapter talks about those.
Even the first chapter itself is even in the 4 different ways.
Okay.
It is explained. 4 different ways.
Okay.
4 different elements of it. Padas are elements actually.
Elements.
Sections. And within each section there are many adhikaranas. And within each adhikarana there are 1 or more sutras. So wait till we finish first chapter and you'll understand that.
Total 135 sutra in first chapter.
Yes.
Right, Prabhuji?
Yes, correct.
Now, Prabhuji, just before
one example. I think one of the slide was there actually. Yeah, continue. What other questions you might have?
Yeah, Prabhuji, when you talk about Vedas, it's a, so is there any structure we understand Vedas, or, one Vedas and then we understand they're divided into four, leave those four parts, but one Veda as a whole, we look into that. And is there any structure? Because always people talk about Vedas and Upanishads, they club together and I get confused. One,
No. You understand what is Upanishad? Vedas, four Vedas actually, they are never changed. Shruti. They're called Shruti, right?
yes.
No, absolute no change. Whatever is coming originally, that Krishna gave it to Lord Brahma is coming, right? But the Upanishads are the commentary of different acharyas, different rishis. So as souls. Those are the Upanishads. So Jnana based, because that is intellectual interpretation of the particular segments of a particular Veda. Okay.
Okay. Because
So now
I hear many times, right?
Upanishad is also part of Veda in Shruti, but it is actually the commentary given by a particular rishi, a Gemini rishi or whatever particular rishi. There is appointed by Srila Vyasadeva himself. He distributed each of these four Vedas to four disciples.
Yeah.
Okay. And many of these disciples, they themselves are well-recognized rishis, self-raised souls, and they explain their own way of understanding. Not necessarily they could be wrong. Okay. Sometimes they're diametrically opposite. Nonetheless, the way you see, when you see a particular scenery, Nazariya, but how you look at it, how you understand a particular aspect of it, Lord gave each Rishi Munis a particular angle of vision.
Okay.
So they are not necessarily wrong, okay? Their own way of realizing it. Different angles of vision that is given.
Yeah.
That is called that is exactly Upanishad is all about.
Yeah. Because in Maharashtra there are Vedant school and they only study Upanishad. They never talk about any other thing. So I was just coming that they talk Veda means
Because
Upanishad.
it's
That's
a
how.
part of Shruti. So Advaitavadis generally prefer only Shrutis.
Okay.
They don't like Puranas. Puranas are always changing time to time. New elements are introduced all the time.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
That's their criticism against Puranas. But Bhagavad Purana is completely different. The 18 Mahapuranas, remember 18 Mahapuranas are divided into groups of 4, 6 each. And there 6 are in Sattva Guna, in Rajaguna, the other third 6 is the Tamaguna. Vyasadeva himself, same writer, same compiler. And these Upanishads, 6 that are Brahma, Supreme God, other is Lord Shiva, is Lord Shiva Purana. So why? Because he knew the mentality of those people. So they have to raise to a higher platform from that particular mode of, because they are Rajaguna and some in the Tamaguna. So they have to understand from that point of view. But gradually they'll finally come to the Sattva Puranas, Vishnu Purana, Bhagavad Purana, and so on like that.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhu, because of this
Very
timing.
late for you now. It's in Sydney.
Yes, Prabhu. Because of the timing.
Probably
Prabhu,
staying overnight, awake for whole night. Looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah. What's the question? What happened? Prabhuji,
must be some internet problem. He is gone
okay. All right. Any other points before I turn it over to Sharat Prabhuji?
Prabhuji, Devi Puran is also considered as in 18 Purana. Where Devi Puran bhi aata hai, Prabhuji?
No.
That is a different thing.
Devi
Yes.
Bhagavata is where Devi is considered the supreme. All the three main deities, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they are acting under that's what Devi Bhagavata says, all right?
वो किसने लिखा प्रभुजी? तो वो किसने दिया?
Vyasadeva.
व्यासदेव ने दिया?
Yeah.
अच्छा.
So there are 18 main Purana. There are 18 supplementary Purana. Again, there are 18. I think what you call there's a difference. So 18, 18, 18. There are three groups.
Okay.
Sharat Prabhu, is that correct? Three groups, right? 18, 18,
18 Puranas, 18 Upapuranas.
Oh, acha. Supplementary is the same thing, Purana.
Yes.
Okay. So 18 plus 18, 36 Purana are the total.
Yes.
Okay. All written by Vyasadeva.
Yes. Yes, Rajiv Prabhuji, you have come.
Sorry, Prabhu, by mistakenly because of the signal was weak. Prabhu, just a question. Sorry for joining you first of all late. Prabhu, Sarath Prabhu, you did mention that that story of Govinda Bhasya, how the Govinda Bhasya is came into the appearance. Lord Govinda directly came and given this Shastra. So, connecting that story, Prabhu, is that the same Bhasya? Is it? We are studying?
Yes, it is the same Bhasya.
This is what we are studying. I am so happy. So that is what I wanted to. Curious, you did mention that story of Ramanandis, how he fought and all. Why we should not worship Radha and Krishna together. All this stuff. You did mention one story.
They were challenged.
Yes,
in fact, they didn't want to worship Radha Krishna. They wanted to worship Lakshmi Narayana.
Yes,
but Ramanandis worship Lakshmi Narayana.
Yes, bro. Because we didn't have that Bhashya was not there in our commentary was not there in our Sampradaya. Because of that, they were thinking that Gaudiyas are not authorized to worship Radha and Krishna together. That is what I heard the story from Sarath.
Correct. Yeah, you understood right.
Yes, bro.
But that's a blessing. There was a blessing in disguise.
I mean, basically, it is so close to our parampara. So credibility of our parampara is directly Govinda came and dictated this Bhashya means, and we are studying that one under your guidance and Prabhu's Sharad Prabhu's guidance means.
No, Acharya's guidance. Our Acharya's guidance. This Govinda Bhashya, because of Baladev Vidyabhushan, and it is explained by our Acharyas. The commentary itself is explained by Acharyas. That's how we are studying.
Yes, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Prabhupada did not write, but he wrote an article on that Govinda Bhashya.
Thank you, bro. Hare Krishna, bro.
Haribol. Thank you. So, okay, Sharat Prabhuji, you take it over.
Okay, Prabhuji. We were talking about the parampara of Baladev Vidyabhushan. Now, I'll give the complete parampara till Baladev Vidyabhushan. You know Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu's one disciple was Gauridas Pandita. Gauridas Pandita, his temple you will find in Ambika Kalna. When you go from Howrah to Mayapur on the other route, not from when you go from the airport side, that is a different route. But this one, when you go from Howrah, it is a different route. There you will find his place Ambika Kalna and the deities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, and they are the original deities which were given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They have not been constructed by anybody. I had the chance to see it. If you ever go, please have a look at it. And Gauridas Pandita is supposed to be Subala Sakha of Krishna's times. Okay, Gauridas Pandita, his disciple was Hriday Chaitanya. Hriday Chaitanya's disciple was Shyamananda Pandita. Shyamananda Pandita, as you know, his Siksha Guru was Jiva Goswami, and how he, along with Srinivasa Acharya and Narottam Das Thakur, they took all the literature to Gauda Desa, and in between they were stolen. That story you know. Then Shyamananda Prabhu's disciple was Rasikananda Prabhu, and Rasikananda Prabhu's disciple was Radha Damodar. Radha Damodar Prabhu, and his disciple was Baladev Vidyabhusana. Baladev Vidyabhusana, he has written about 24 books. Out of them, the very prominent are this one Govinda Bhasya. Actually, if we say that he has written, that is also not correct. It was dictated to him by Govinda Devji, and he just wrote down. And then Siddhanta Darpana, Prameya Ratnavali, Gopal Tapani Bhasya, Vaishnava Nandini, Ratnamala Bhasya, that is the Ratnamala of Rupa Goswami, the Bhasya on that. Then Jiva Goswami's Tattva Sandarbha, the Tika on that. All these things, there are total about 24 books he has written. Now the history about Govinda Devji. This is very interesting. And who was responsible for bringing Govinda Dev, rather who discovered Govinda Dev's deity in Vrindavan? This is my question. Anybody can answer? Which of the
Jiva Goswami.
Rupa Goswami. Okay, I'll tell you this story also. Now, Rupa Goswami, he used to perform bhajan in a small hut behind Radha Damodar temple in Sevakunj. And following the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted to manifest the deities of the past who were not, who had vanished from the scene. Now, every day Rupa Goswami would perform the 10 miles parikrama of Vrindavana. And one day, what happened during his parikrama, he became very restless, thinking about the deity of Govinda Dev. And he sat down under a tree on the bank of Yamuna and he started crying. And at that time, a beautiful Brajavasi boy who was also doing parikrama, he walked past. And when he saw Rupa Goswami weeping under the tree, he asked him why he was crying. And at first, Rupa Goswami said nothing. But when the boy persisted, he revealed to him the pain in his heart. Then this Brajavasi boy, he brought Rupa Goswami to the Goma Tila and told him that every day just before noon, one cow comes here to this mound and he irrigates this place with the milk from her udder. And I think that your desire will be fulfilled if you dig this place. And saying this, the boy immediately disappeared. Now, thinking about the beauty of the boy, Rupa Goswami, he fainted. And when he regained his consciousness, he called the neighboring Brajavasis and explained to them, and all of them, they helped him in digging up the earth at that place. And there was a mound, and that mound was dug, and they found the deity of Govindaji, who was more beautiful than millions of cupids. Then they bathed the deity with great ceremony. And when news of this spread quickly, crowds came there to take darshan of Govinda Devji. And before Rupa Goswami's arrival in Vrindavan, it so happened that the deity of Sri Radhika, who was also present in the temple of Jagannath in Puri Dham, he was worshipped by everyone as Lakshmi ji. And Sri Radhika instructed the father of Maharaj Prataprudra in a dream that I am not Lakshmi, I am Radha, the beloved of Brajendra Nandana Sri Krishna. and I am waiting for the manifestation of Govinda Dev in Vrindavan. And when he appears, please send me to him with great care. And this deity, along with the other deities of Sri Radhika, was later sent to Vrindavan by Sri Jannava Mata, and the contemporary Goswami placed this deity of Sri Radha to the left of Govinda Dev. And after being united with Radhika, Sri Govinda Dev became very, very famous by the name of Sri Radha Govinda. Now, this original deity is believed to be created more than 5,000 years back by Vajranava, Krishna's great grandson. And this incident occurred, that is, Rupa Goswami discovered in 1525. And what happened in 1590, Raja Man Singh of Amber, who was a general of Emperor Akbar, he built a magnificent seven-story sandstone temple for Govinda Dev. Then in 1670, Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, he tried to destroy all the deities in Vrindavan. That's why, to protect the deity from destruction by the Muslims, it was moved to Jaipur, where it remains even today. The idol currently worshipped at the Vrindavan temple is a replica of the original deity. And Govinda Dev is considered to have the most divine face among the deities of Krishna, representing his face aspect, while Madan Mohan represents the feet and Gopinath the chest. Now, this is the story of Govinda Dev. And I'll request, if anybody is going to coming to Odisha, visiting Remuna, please see the place of Baladev Vidyavasana. And another very important thing about Govinda Dev, now it is documented that if anybody sees the deity of Govinda Dev, that is the original Govinda Dev, that is who is in Jaipur, he will not take a birth again. This is confirmed. So therefore, everybody should follow Radha Govind, Radha Vinod Prabhuji, and visit that temple in one's lifetime. That's all,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji,
Which is
I'll,
Prayojan deities, na? Radha or Abhideya. Is Prayojan deities or Abhideya deities for?
Prayojan Abhide. Okay. You remember Raksha Mataji? She sang the song that the Sambandha deity is, what is the mantra?
Madan
Madan
Mohan
Mohan
ji.
ji.
Sanatan Goswami, Pranidhan.
Jetam Surato Pangor Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarvasva
Matsarvasa
Padambujo
Padambojo,
Radha
Sri
Madana
Radha
Mohana.
Madan Mohan.
Then Abhideya deity is Divyat Brindaranya Kalpadrumaha Srimad Ratnangara Singhasana Sthito Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Deva Uprashta Livi Sevyamano Smarami. And Provision deity Sriman Rasarasarambi Vamsi Vatatapasita Karsana Venusvanir Gopir Gopinatha Sriyastuna. Now you understood.
Yes, 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 Professor.
Yes, you should remember these three verses, because in the invocation I always sing this.
yeah,
This is the significance.
Prabhuji. So I'll add the same thing little bit. What I heard
Yes,
during
yes.
my visit. So Vajranabh ji, grandson of Lord Krishna, and in a Braj Dham they believe he carved 5 deities. Three we
Yes,
know, three we know.
yes.
Like Govind Dev ji, you mentioned very clearly, represent the face. Gopinath ji, just behind that couple of my kilometer is a Gopinath ji in Jaipur, and Madan Mohan ji you see Karoli. He is
And,
on
and,
the
and these three deities, Govinda, Madan Mohan, and Gopinath, they
No, yeah.
never came back to Vrindavan. What we
I
see in Vrindavan, they are the Pratibhu deities. That
But
is
they
the,
don't agree. They don't agree. Those in Vrindavan, they said, "What do you mean by are you? These are duplicate." They get angry with that. Leave that part.
it is not duplicate. They are also same, but the originals who are shifted
Yeah,
to Jaipur, these three, all others came back, but these three stayed in Jaipur. Let there be disagreement, but this is what
correct.
is the fact.
Yeah. So Vajranab card for five, and as we say, Uttara identified those three, but it is a belief there are fourth one is Srinathji. They
Yes.
believe Srinathji is one, and the fifth one is I think in the south one place I just forgot. So they believe these are the fifth carved by Vajranabji and Uttara confirm, and these are, and you showed that how they have come into the existence. Beautiful deities of the Govind Devji, they call it is a king of all deities. The devotees there in Jaipur, they call king of all deities, and it is many of the deities in if you go to Jaipur, they are in the palace, but this palace is really huge. Where Govind Devji is there. At the same time, how many people can take a darshan? All other places, small place, just crowded and all that. You see how they are there. You can see from distance. You can go sideways, go very close, almost 10 feet close to the uh, Govind Devji. And we were there for 5 days. In 5 days, 4 days, we had a darshan, Prabhuji. So nice darshan. Along the wall, those who are Raksha Mataji has gone. Along the wall, when you come out, all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leelas, more than 20, 30, they are painted. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Govind Devji temple, when you come out, towards again exit, all those are carved, very big pictures, and those are carved. Wonderful place to be, Govind Devji. Deities is so nice, and devotees, they are much enchanted. I have seen Vrindavan, I see, Banke Bihari and all that, but there is no panda, there is no disturbance, there's nothing. You go and have a beautiful darshan of Govind Devji. So nice, nice to see that. I'll just stop here. Thank you, Prabhuji. Second thing, Prabhuji, also the Remuna Dham, Baldev Vidyabhushan ji, the place you are seeing, also Sridhar Swami's, such a fortunate place. They call it it's a Gupta Vrindavan, right?
Yes.
Remuna Dham. So both are great, great devotees. Sridhar Swami, they are maybe a distance of couple of kilometers. Both were born in those villages, nearby villages, and those are still preserved there. Such auspicious Remuna Dham. Other than that, Madhvendra Puri Samadhi is there also,
Yes.
right? Because he did not go. We know one part of that. He came for Chandan and he stops there. But another story that those devotee tells us there, those pujaris, that he was too old. And that's why Lord say that now apply the Chandan here. You don't have to go back to
Yes.
Vrindavan. And then his Samadhi is very nearby. There are other two also. You mentioned Rasakanand and Shamanand Pandit, right?
Rasikanand,
And Shamanand Pandit.
Yamanand Prabhu.
They are from that place. So such an auspicious place. Anybody goes there. I think Raksha Mataji has been there. Others have been there. Beautiful place. I'll stop here. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji, what you are talking about Bajranava, he had made 16 deities. Out of them, 5 are most famous. Like
Okay.
you said, Govinda, Gopinath, Madan Mohan. And
Mm.
besides them, Harideva. Haridev is established in Govardhan
Yeah.
and Keshav Dev in Mathura.
I visited Haridev. We have Srishta Prabhuji. I had stayed here for 6 days. He's from Washington DC. Prabhuji maybe knowing, and he took to that. Haridev is a wonderful. He said take the permission of Haridev, and then we went all parikrama 6 days, and then while coming also we paid obeisance and came back. It's a beautiful deity. You are right on that.
In our temple,
Thank
we have the deity of Radha Madan Mohan.
Yeah. Those who go for parikrama visit that Haridev there. It's beautiful.
The Madan Mohan deity is Sanatana Goswami worshipped, isn't it?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, I think it's time to wrap up. Samantha Mataji, are you there?
Yes, Prabhu. I'm here.
Could you do the Nashima prayer, please?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladaladaine. Praladaladaine. Hiranya Kashipu Vaksha. Hiranyakashipu Vaksha. Shilatankanakalaye. Shilatankanakalaye. Ito Narsimha, Parato Narsimha. Ito Narsimha, Parato Narsimha. Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha. Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha. Mahi Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha. Mahi Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha. Narasimhamadin Sharanam Prapatye. Narasimhamadin Sharanam Prapatye. Tava Karakamalavare Nakham Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Tava Karakamalavare Nakham Adbhuta Shringam Datta Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jayo Narsimhadev 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 Jaya Narsimhadev Jai Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jai Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada Jai Jai Gurudev 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 Jai Jai Gurudev Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Bol Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much,
Thanks, Mataji.
Samantha.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for your
Thank
patience.
you.
So
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Prabhuji, for
Thank you,
so
Chinmay.
wonderful
Thank
class.
you,
Pranam,
everyone.
Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam to all devotees.
All devotees. Dandavat Pranam.
To all.
All devotees.